And we are live. Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben, here for the daily What the Pluck is going on in cryptocurrencies. My friends, this is absolutely awesome. Let me tell you why. Because we hit $72,000 on the Bitcoin today. Now, or as of right now, I have a sneaking suspicion that we will be hitting $74,000 today. And I'm going to show you why and how this is all going to happen. Now, on today's show, we have about a 2-hour show today. Unfortunately, for those of you who aren't on the private server, it's only going to be about an hour and a half, or it's only going to be about a half hour. But on the private server, it's going to be 2 hours because I have 4 different charts I want you to see. And you guys know I'm not a chart guy. I'm not a trader. All right. I'm a hodler. But these charts show you how over the next 30 days that the Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. It isn't if it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I told you guys last week, who remembers this, watch for an announcement about the Bitcoin from Trump. Today on Squawk Box, just this morning, Trump called Bitcoin a currency. He said that Bitcoin is a currency. I've been telling you guys forever, Trump is not anti-Bitcoin. Trump is pro-capitalism. And Bitcoin is the digital equivalent of Austrian economics at its best. We have Michael Saylor, who bought more Bitcoin, like $800 million. Do you see what he's doing? Folks, let me explain real quick what Michael Saylor's doing. All right. He is purchasing Bitcoin, putting it in MicroStrategy's balance sheet. That raises the value of the company. Then he takes out a loan on the appreciated value of the company and buys more Bitcoin, which raises the value of his company. Then he takes another loan out at less than 1% interest, and he buys more Bitcoin. That then raises the value of his company, and he takes out another loan. He's hacking the lending system. He's literally getting free Bitcoin using leverage of his company's appreciation from the Bitcoin. I don't know why every company isn't doing this. Every single company should be doing this because it raises the market value of your company. Then you can lend against the value market or the market value of your company and buy more Bitcoin. This is unbelievable on what he's doing. Now, let's jump over real quick. Oh, a special announcement, right? To celebrate the opening of my second club up in Nashville. Today, if you call 629-300-5585 or go to the website www.bitcoinbencryptoclubnashville.com, you can join the website, join the club, get all of the benefits of the clubs for half off or almost half off. You get $20 off each month for 3 months. Voila, right now. But you have to either call or go to the website now. Call 629-300-5585 and they'll help you. You'll probably talk with Todd or Janet, and if they don't answer, leave them a message or send them a text. There you go. Okay. Now, oh, my friends, here I have so much I want to show you guys. This is absolutely, hey, I'll say, which one's this? Yes, all right. This is Trump on Squawk Box today.
Well, it's taken its own life. You know, I do little things sometimes for fun and, you know, make money with it. But I have fun with it too.
You mean
NFTs.
you bought Bitcoin?
No. But I sometimes will let people pay through Bitcoin, or will let people get involved in a new. It's, you know, if you think of it, it's an additional form of currency. And I used to say, you know, I want one currency. I want the dollar. I don't want people leaving the dollar. And I feel that way. But I will tell you, it has taken on a life. I did a thing that people smile at, but it was wild. We did 1,000 sneakers, so limited edition sneaker run. The last one, and you could go through, you know, our crazy new currencies, because that's what I call them. They're crazy, whether it's Bitcoin or others. And so many people were buying these things. And ultimately, the last pair of sneakers sold for approximately, I hear, $450,000. It was a limited edition, a run. They were gold. They were, you know, nice, cute. And we thought it was just a very small thing. It was a branding thing, and had a good time with it. The last pair sold for $450,000. People were going crazy for these sneakers. You probably were too. Everybody was. I have every friend I have has called me for a pair of sneakers. So it just took off. And I noticed that so many of them were paid for with this, with the new currency.
Crypto.
And it is that. It's a new cryptocurrency. And I couldn't believe the amount. And I'm saying, you know, this thing has really, and other things I do, people are using it. And, you know, I would be, I'm very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And frankly, and I know Jay feels strongly about this, and Jay did a fantastic job, by the way, in a group where there's always scandal and problems. Jay went through 4 years. There wasn't one scandal. I don't know, Jay, maybe you can tell me. But
all right, now we are going to hear Michael Saylor on CNBC from this morning. Listen up. This is Michael Saylor.
This morning, Bitcoin crossing the $70,000 mark for the first time on Friday. This morning, it's now above $72,000. Join us right now to talk Bitcoin is Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy Executive Chairman, and 8K out from the company this morning, revealing it just bought more than $800 million in Bitcoin. As of the end of last month, his company held about 200,000 Bitcoins. And Michael, I want to thank you for joining us. You have been early and courageous, and you continue to double down. I want to talk about where you think Bitcoin is, but also want to talk about how you think about MicroStrategy and your company as a proxy for Bitcoin now that ETFs are available to the public.
Sure. Well, I think I'd start just with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is certainly at least digital gold. It's going to eat gold. It's got all of the great attributes of gold, and it's got none of the defects of gold. If you could teleport gold from New York to Tokyo in a few minutes, people would like it. It's going to divert capital from risk assets and risk ETFs like SPY, and you can see that these ETFs are doing that. It's going to be incorporated into a lot of funds like the BlackRock Global Opportunities Fund or the Strategic Income Opportunities Fund. And so it's an asset class. As it goes into other funds, it's going to become structural. The halving is going to cut the organic supply of natural sellers in half around April 20th. That means there's only about $32 million a day of natural sellers. And the price of Bitcoin is going to have to adjust up in order to meet that investor demand. So I think that's what's going to happen next to the asset class.
In terms, though, of how investors should think about your company, and right now I think they think of your company as a proxy for Bitcoin. It was a way for investors, frankly, who didn't want to buy the underlying coins to get access to Bitcoin and exposure to Bitcoin. The question now, though, that these ETFs have been approved and folks are funneling money towards BlackRock and so many others, how should they think about your company versus doing that?
Yeah, so BlackRock is like the container ship or the super tanker of Bitcoin. They can take $1 billion a day into their capital structure, and they can hold that very efficiently, 25 basis points. MicroStrategy is like air freight. We got higher performance. So what's going on here? MicroStrategy's got leverage. If we borrowed $800 million at 62 basis points, is there any company in the world that you wouldn't like to invest in that could borrow $1 billion at less than 1% interest to invest in your best idea? So we get that very intelligent leverage. It's non-recourse, it's unsecured, and then we buy Bitcoin with it. That leverage gives us volatility. It gives us performance. The performance gives us volatility. The volatility attracts capital, and we can then leverage more. It's kind of intelligent because it's convertible debt. It's given our shareholders more Bitcoin per share this week than they had a few weeks ago. So it's very accretive for them. And it's pretty compelling for every investor. If you're Bitcoin curious right now and you want to buy Bitcoin at the all-time high, how do you get the upside in Bitcoin with downside protection? MicroStrategy sold $800 million in debt, and we have $13 billion of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So we're giving you an over-collateralized loan and the upside. But if you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you love Bitcoin and you want to hold it forever, the ETFs charge you 25 basis points. MicroStrategy is accreting. We're giving you a yield against your shares in a tax-efficient fashion. So the maximalists like the equity. The hedgers, they kind of like the upside with downside protection. The traders love the vol. You know, we've got 100 vol asset here, and they just like the vol. So we're unique because you can't really trade options on the ETFs, and an ETF isn't going to issue a convertible bond with upside to Bitcoin, but downside protection.
So Michael, I try to understand the mathematics, and I know people like you went to MIT, and it just seems maybe it's more understandable for you or Andreessen or Peter Thiel or whatever. At 17, down from 68, and you know your leverage and everything else. Did you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have any doubt whatsoever? That's my one question, because I was thinking about you at 17,000, and now I look at it now, and I just can't believe what the market cap of your company is based on it now. I guess, and the other thing is, when it halves, should we, if we look at it on stock to flow, do we have to just double what the potential price is based on, if you use that metric? Is that a valid metric to use? And after the halving, shouldn't it be 140,000 immediately if it's worth 72 now?
Two good questions, and thanks for asking me. First, with regard to Bitcoin, no, there's no doubt in my mind Bitcoin was a better investment at 17,000 than it was at 65,000. I take the Warren Buffett view on this. Bitcoin's a superior investment to gold, equity, bonds, and real estate because it's digital. You can trade it 1 million times faster than conventional assets using a computer. It's available. Most other assets only trade less than 20% of the time. Bitcoin's trading 168 hours a week. We bought $800 million of Bitcoin, and a lot of it we bought over the weekend when all the conventional markets are closed. It's global. It's the most widely recognized and trusted investment asset in the world right now. It's ethical because it's the king of all commodities. There's no issuer. There's no company. There's no country controlling it. And fundamentally, it's useful. Thousands of market makers can trade it all the time. Millions of companies can trade it. Billions of people. If you want to buy a house on Saturday in Africa, this is the way to do it. If you want to buy a car on Sunday morning, this is the way to do it. So it's a pretty great asset. It's the greatest of the assets in my opinion. There's no second best asset. So I didn't have any question about it. We're just waiting for the rest of the world to realize how good it is. As for your second question, the halving, look, the selling in the market for the past month has been primarily bankruptcy estates that are liquidating GBTC at FTX or Genesis or the like. Once they got done rebalancing, the natural sellers are the miners. The miners can only sell 900 Bitcoin a day right now. They're only going to be able to sell 450 Bitcoin a day coming the end of April. As long as there's more demand in the market than the 450 Bitcoin a day, there isn't any catalyst to drive this asset down. It has no cash flows. The critics think that's a defect. It's a feature. With no cash flows, no quarterly results, no product cycles, this is the longest lived asset in the financial ecosystem with the least uncertainty. We're buying it to hold it 100 years. So that being the case, that $66,000 to $16,000 crash, that shook out the tourists, that shook out the non-believers. When it was 16,000, we were all ready to write it to zero. And that's what you'll find with the Bitcoin maximalists. So now we're writing it the other direction, and the protocol's working to everybody's benefit. There's just no reason why it shouldn't just keep adjusting up to find the marginal supply as the demand builds.
Your market cap, Michael, is about 24 billion. You mentioned you got about $15 billion in Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So the substantial part of your market cap is now Bitcoin as opposed to your core software business. Does a software business exist solely so you can borrow off of that in order to buy Bitcoin? And how can we understand right now the health of your business as you undergo transition of customers to cloud-based software?
we have now rebranded ourselves as a Bitcoin development company. Think like a real estate development company. And certainly the substantial amount of our enterprise value is based on our unique ability to issue securities and to purchase Bitcoin with convertible debt, with equity and the like. And so we understand that. But the only reason we could make this transition is because the software business was healthy. It does generate steady cash flow. It does allow us to issue debt, to issue equity. It does make us unique because we're able to, we've got a very functional options market. We've got a very functional debt market. And we've got a very stable operating business that we can use. If you look at our last result, we actually bought a lot of Bitcoin with operating cash or cash out of the operating business. And that is purely accretive to our shareholders. So we think we're unique, and that's working very, very well right now.
Hey, Michael, do you think long-term that there's any risk at this point? Has Bitcoin reached such escape velocity that there's any risk that governments, the US government, Chinese government, other governments somehow do something to Bitcoin that puts its growth in jeopardy?
You know, it's another great question, Andrew. A lot of times the skeptics, they say Bitcoin looks too good to be true. It's so good to be true, someone's going to take it away from you. And that's based on a fundamental misunderstanding about Bitcoin. People refer to it as currency or digital currency, and that's unfortunate historical artifact. It's not digital currency, it's digital property. And once you make that big leap and understand it's property, you see the compelling use case is capital preservation for everyone in the world. There's no anathema associated with owning property. You can own $1 billion building in New York City. You can own every place in the world where they allow you to own property, which means China, Europe, the US, they're going to embrace Bitcoin as digital property. All the controversial issues around cryptos have to do with their use as a medium of exchange. But what I'm here to say really is medium of exchange is only worth $1 trillion. Store of value is worth $100 trillion. So I give your company, I give your family, I give your institution $1 billion. I drop you in Africa and I say, you got to save the capital for 100 years. What are you going to buy? And the answer is nothing. There is nothing on the entire continent you can buy that's better than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's going to be embraced as property. It's going to be controversial if people think of it as a currency. So I would encourage people to think of it as digital property, $1 billion building in cyberspace. And hold it for 100 years.
Does it ever have to be a currency? Or do you think it ever becomes a quote unquote currency?
It doesn't have to be a currency. Nobody's trying to buy a cup of coffee with a fraction of their building on Fifth Avenue, right? But every rich person I know owns property in London or New York City or somewhere, and none of them complain about not being able to spend their building as a medium of exchange. So the killer application is capital preservation for everybody. The store of value is the killer use case. Medium of exchange is a distraction. Governments are always going to issue currency. They're always going to make it legal tender, and that's just fine. Bitcoin's competing with gold. It's going to eat it, and then it's competing with risk assets as a long-term hold, and it's competing with you buying an Airbnb as a retirement income source if you're a middle-class person.
Michael, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Thank you.
Is everyone starting to get this? Is everyone starting to understand what in the hell is happening here? Folks, whether you like it or not, get some Bitcoin. I'm telling you now, we have Donald Trump coming out and oh yeah, Bitcoin, we're getting paid in Bitcoin. It's great. We have Michael Saylor, one of the friggin' mega geniuses, in technology, we have Elon Musk. Wait until you see what Elon Musk is going to do with Twitter. He is going to make friggin' PayPal look like a joke. Folks, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Now, on the private server today, I'm going to show you guys charts that are going to pop your head, right? That are going, you're going to look at them, listen, and go, holy crap. That's why, oh God, what's his name? The guy in El Salvador. Now I can't remember. He's a real odd guy. Damn it, him and his wife. I can't remember, but he just revised his end of 2024 700. Yes, Max Kaiser. Thank you. Max Kaiser just revised his new top $700,000 Bitcoin this cycle. But what people don't understand, even Max doesn't realize this. We're not in a cycle. We are, in order to have a cycle up and down, you have to have more selling pressure than buying pressure. That's not going to happen. There's not enough people willing to sell to drop the price 50% again. Nope, not going to happen, because the buying pressure is so high and growing every single day that the price is only going to keep going up. And after the halvening, guys, we are off to the races. This is, yes, exactly. Michael Saylor, we just passed up silver this morning. The global market cap of silver, we passed it. Bye-bye. Now Bitcoin is bigger than silver. Knocking on gold's door. Because gold as a store of value is no longer applicable in this digital environment. No one wants to trade large amounts of gold on the regular basis. You can't move it, but you can send $400 million worth of Bitcoin in one transaction. Think about that, folks. In one transaction. It's just better money, folks. It's just better money. I told you guys a few weeks ago, or last week, that Trump was going to talk about Bitcoin. And folks, I'm not making this shit up. Now, here's a word from our sponsor. Then we are going to the private server so I can blow your guys' minds with these charts. Folks, I'm going to show you a chart that literally will show you what the price will be by 2030 and 2028. Well over $1 million a coin. Well, in fact, multiple millions of dollars per coin. Word from the sponsor. Hold, please.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
All righty, we are back. Now, once again, www.Bitcoin Crypto Club Nashville. That's our second club we've opened. We are opening another club in Boston, another club in St. Louis, another club in Texas, another club up in New York, because we have some investors up in New York. And within a year, we're going to have a club out in California. I know. But c'est la vie. Okay. Call now. 629-300-5585 or text and receive $20 off your monthly membership at the website for the Nashville Club for 3 months. Act now and you get access to over 500 videos, education, information, technology, history, sci-fi, AI, all the videos you could ever want to learn about the Bitcoin and the crypto economy. Join now, folks. All right, now we are leaving YouTube and Rumble, and on YouTube, if you want to join the private server, there's 3 ways. Rumble, YouTube. Number 1, you can use your phone and scan that code. That will take you to the private server where you can see the rest of the hour-and-a-half video today. Plus, at 3 o'clock, I do my woo-woo show. And woo-woo is going to be crazy today. We are talking in Anunnaki and a few recent discoveries about the Anunnaki and who they are. They might be us. Oh, here we go. All right. The second way, under the video right here, there's links to my private server. And on YouTube and Rumble, you hit the join on YouTube, you join the private server. On Rumble, you click join and you join my locals channel right there. Everyone has access to the private server for over 60 hours a week worth of content. That's how much I work, folks. But I'm in Bitcoin, so we be working. Everyone accept the private server. Bye-bye. Private server peeps. I'll be right back.